Thanks, Adrian. And a very good afternoon to you wherever and however you're listening to Talk Sport 2. Well, there's 24 miles between the cities of Coventry and Leicester, but 28 points separate them in the division. Leicester City are increasingly looking like it's just going to be a one-season stay at championship level. 10 points clear at the top, 10 clean sheets, most scored, least conceded, all the records heading their way. And even though they've got a couple of players out injured and one or two absent for tournaments like the African Cup of Nations, they still have a squad and a bench this afternoon that looks Premier League ready. Coventry, they snuck into the playoffs on the last day of last season and got to the final, losing to Luton Town. And much as with last season, they started a little sluggishly this, but my word, how the Sky Blues have picked up. One defeat in 11. They will go 6th in the table with a win today after Hull were beaten at home last night, live on TalkSport 2 by Dean's former side, Norwich. So Coventry have an incentive just as much as Leicester do to try and increase their points tally. And Coventry make a couple of changes from their last league game against Middlesbrough, bringing back Liam Kitching from suspension for Lewis Binks, and Matt Godden, who scored 2 here against Oxford in a 6-2 FA Cup win last Saturday, rewarded with the start in place of Ellis Sims. As for Leicester, they make one change from their last league game. That was when they beat Huddersfield at the King Power. A return for Kiernan Dewsbury Hall to midfield. Yunus Akgun makes way. So the lineups for Coventry: Bradley Collins in goal, Milan Van Ewijk, Bobby Thomas, Liam Kitching, Jake Bidwell across the back, Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, Ben Sheaf, Josh Eccles and Casey Palmer, 4 in midfield from right to left, and Callum O'Hare in support of Matt Godden in attack. For Leicester, Mads Hermansen is the goalkeeper, Ricardo Pereira, Yannick Vestergaard, Wout Faes and James Justin in their back four, Cesare Cassidy and Harry Winks holding in midfield, and then Abdul Fatawu, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall and Steffi Mavididi in behind Tom Cannon, who himself has been in good goal-scoring form lately. 3 in his last 2 appearances. The benches quickly for Coventry: Wilson, Binks, De Silva, McFadden, Kelly, Allen, Sims, Latibugia and Tavares. For Leicester, Stolarczyk, Cody, Doyle, Albright and Chowdhury, Pratt, Akgun, McAteer, who's back from injury, and Nelson. Both teams wearing their first choice colours. And I tell you what, Dean Ashton, I've seen the Coventry Building Society busy, particularly in recent times as their fortunes have increased. I've not seen it this busy.
No, I mean, when you think what they've been through over the years, to see this place full and rocking is just brilliant to see.
And all players take the knee on the instruction of our referee today, Darren England. Leicester in all royal blue will get us underway. They're kicking towards their supporters away to our right in the south stand. Coventry in all sky blue. They're heading for the north stand to our left, which they normally like to attack in the second half. And Leicester with Vestergaard and Faes trying to control the ball in these early stages in their own half. It's rolled back to Mads Hermansen, and he clips the ball into the centre of the half, neatly finding Harry Winks, flicks it onto Cassidy, ball up to halfway looking for Cannon, but Coventry win it back, but almost immediately are dispossessed by Dewsbury Hall, sticking his foot in the centre circle. It eventually breaks for Wout Faes, who tries to release Fatawu down this near side, the Leicester right, but it's cleared downfield by Bidwell, and Godden goes in strongly with Vestergaard, who puts it out for a throw, and it's rough and tumble already, Dean Ashton, 0-0.
Well, it is, and it looks like they're going to push up the pitch, Coventry, and look to press at least when Faes and Vestergaard have the ball. But straight away, Ricardo Pereira, straight from kick-off, went straight into midfield with Winks, and that turned into a back 3 with Justin Vestergaard and Faes.
These two met on the opening weekend of the season live on the TalkSport network. You might remember that Coventry had the lead in that game of the King Power through Carl McFadden, only for a brace from Kiernan Dewsbury Hall to turn it round in Leicester's favour. And I read a very interesting piece in the week online, Dean Ashton, that suggested what would life have been like for Leicester had they not picked up that all-important victory on the opening weekend of the season. I wonder whether they would have got quite as much confidence in the early weeks that they did.
Well, also, you looked at that Coventry team and they looked very good. You thought, yeah, not going to be an issue. Gyökeres and Harmer going. They played very well that day, Coventry, but after that they then struggled for a period.
They did. Well, Haji Wright is finally getting attuned to life at championship level, the American who came in for £7 million with some of the money that was got for Victor Gyökeres. But he's out injured with an abductor problem, Haji Wright, so it is Matt Godden leading the line, who has felt a little bit sidelined perhaps since the return of Callum O'Hare in the number 10 position, which Godden has been filling in quite a lot. But he got 2 against Oxford last Saturday and he starts. So we played 2 minutes on TalkSport 2, the first of 3 championship games. As Coventry send the ball forward, Callum O'Hare makes a dummy run, expecting Godden to make a running behind him, but that wasn't happening, and so Fatawu has it inside his own half and drills the ball along the deck for Justin, and then Vestergaard, under pressure from Godden, just neatly turns away and slides the ball up to halfway, and Cassidy out to the left hand side it goes, and Mavididi tried to send it back down that line for the on-rushing Cassidy, but toe poked out of play by Coventry for a throw, 0-0.
Yeah, and a slight change, just positioning for Dewsbury Hall. He normally plays on the left-hand side of those midfield plays in front of Winks, but he's actually started on the right-hand side, as that's a good ball out to Bidwell, but brilliant defensive work from Fatawu.
Very quickly on the scene, Abdul Fatawu to get in front of the charging Jake Bidwell down the Coventry left. And it's come off Fatawu last of all. He was trying to claim a throw down by the corner flag against Bidwell, but it's gone Coventry City's way. They're attacking the nil stand to our left in this first half. Our Coventry on a beautiful sunny afternoon in the Midlands, not a cloud in the sky. As Leicester win the ball back, Cassidy can stride over the halfway line. Good strong run from the man on loan from Chelsea. Flicks it left to Mavididi, who comes in field. Looks for Dewsbury Hall, but it was intercepted by Josh Eccles, who brings it forward, and now Casey Palmer starts to run at the Leicester back line up to the edge of the area, flicks it left to Godden. Godden goes for goal, and he puts it straight into the arms of Hermansen, trying to curl it round him. First effort of the game comes from Coventry City. It's 0-0.
Brilliant tempo to the game, but that was brilliantly seen by Eccles as Leicester counter-attack.
It's Tom Cannon coming forward now, but back comes Van Ewijk and dispossesses Cannon at the edge of the Coventry penalty area. Good clearance downfield as well by Van Ewijk, right to the chest of Godden. That's really nicely done. And now Ben Sheaf and Eccles combine in the centre of their own half. What were you were saying about the tempo of the game?
Eccles brilliantly just intercepted, and then Palmer was away as easy again.
Here's O'Hare down the left-hand side, but Coventry flicks it infield to Palmer, tried to take it into the area, but didn't get a full touch on it, and then O'Hare steals the ball off Winks, who didn't get a call. Sakamoto, lovely turn, right-hand side of the area. Oh, it's on the bar! Brilliant save by Hermansen to turn it behind for a corner kick to Coventry. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto let fly from a tight angle, brilliantly touched onto the angle of post and bar by the Leicester keeper. Corner Coventry, 0-0.
Terrific play all round, Sakamoto. Brilliant feet on the edge of the area just to get away from his marker. And then at that angle, usually when you hit it that hard, that fierce towards the top corner of the near post, goalkeepers struggle to save it. It's brilliant from Hermansen. Big, strong left hand onto the bar.
Short corner for Sakamoto, right-hand corner of the box, floats it in. It's headed out well by Vestergaard. The offside flag has gone up anyway against a Coventry player, so Leicester will have a free kick inside their own half. So brilliant excitement at the start of this game. 3 championship commentaries in a row for you this afternoon on TalkSport 2. Stay on this frequency and we'll also bring you Cardiff City against Leeds United at 3 and Ipswich Town against Sunderland at 5:30. And both Ipswich and Sunderland have a lot of interest in this fixture. Ipswich to see whether Leicester can go even further clear of them at the top. Sunderland to see whether Coventry might leapfrog them into the final playoff spot come the end of this game. Back it goes to Bradley Collins, and he plays the ball out short to Liam Kitching, back from suspension, and he'll play a little 1-2 with Bobby Thomas, and then hits the ball downfield. It's deflected up in the air and bounces twice inside the Leicester half. Vestergaard, it looked like it came off Matt Godden last of all. Vestergaard was claiming for a throw, which I think was Leicester's, but it's been given to Coventry 10 yards inside the Leicester half. O'Hare, so good to see him back playing regular football. He's got the look of a Jack Grealish about him.
It's brilliant. He's been so missed, hasn't he, here at Coventry? He's such a wonderful talent, and just when he was bursting properly onto the scene, he then got that injury, and I just hope he can have a sustained period of playing, because I think we all want to see him.
Yeah, he had an ACL injury, kept him out for a long time. He's been nursed back to fitness by the Coventry physio staff, and now he's back full time. Don't forget, over on TalkSport right now, the West London derby is well underway. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. Sam Matterface and Martin Key on your commentary team. Just get the TalkSport app downloaded, and it's really easy to swipe between our two stations and switch between commentaries, or indeed switch between some of our other stations like Talk TV, Virgin Radio and Times Radio that you'll also find on the TalkSport app. Coventry 0, Leicester 0, 7 minutes gone. Leicester midway point of the Coventry half. It's worked back to Harry Winks, just in field to Ricardo Pereira, who's playing that inverted fullback role that has now become very much synonymous with so many teams taking the Pep Guardiola blueprint.
Yeah, just they won't be pushed and pressured into playing at a certain tempo, Leicester. They very much have their own way, style, pace in which they're going to build up towards the front players. Even Hermansen has been brilliant in terms of his involvement in the build-up.
Great tenacious work from Callum O'Hare to win the ball on halfway, not once but twice from Leicester players. They're really hurrying Leicester up when they're in possession. Now Winks, good strong run for Leicester into the centre circle. 0-0 the score. If you're just tuning into EFL Game Day live on TalkSport 2. Ian Dancer and Dean Ashton with you at the Coventry Building Society Arena for this Midlands derby.
Interesting to see how good that save was from Hermansen, considering he hasn't got a hat on, and it is so bright, that sun coming over that stand, and he did actually have a hat brought out to him, so he's not too cool for it.
It's only his penalty area to our left that is still bathed in this lunchtime sunshine. Before too long, the sun's going to dip behind the south stand to our right.
It makes that save even better, by the way, the fact that he didn't have a hat on when he made it.
Terrific stop from Hermansen, keeping it goalless at the moment. Palmer, great strength on halfway to wriggle away from Ricardo Pereira, then just toe pokes it too far ahead of him, and that allows Vestergaard to win it back for Leicester City. Fatawu steps inside Bidwell, but then he runs into Ben Sheep, but it's picked up by Dewsbury Hall. Quick feet from the young man, comes in field, and he was being pulled back as he tried to wriggle clear of a couple of challenges, and Leicester have a free kick 10 yards inside the Coventry half of the field. 0-0 the score.
Just wriggled away, didn't he? I think there was probably 2 or 3 little just pulls at Dewsbury Hall, and Hermansen has put his hat on. Good lad.
Bit shutting the door after the horse has bolted, but as you said, he made a great save anyway, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So free kick to Leicester City. They're just retrieving the ball from the far side of the field. The away end absolutely jam-packed, with Leicester fans making that short trip down the motorway for this derby game. Palmer strongly in on Dewsbury Hall to stop him having the ball midway inside the Coventry half of the field, but the Foxes do have a throw on this near side as they're attacking that end to our right where the Leicester support is. 10 gone, 0-0. Dewsbury Hall receives the throw and knocks it back towards the halfway line and Wout Fast. The Belgian immediately looks for Ricardo Pereira, slides it down the right wing for Fatawu, level with the edge of the area, and then Dewsbury Hall goes back to Fast once again, and they might look to switch play from right to left, Leicester City, and they do. Vestergaard now in the centre circle. Now he turns back and feeds right. Ricardo Pereira's coming field again. Now Coventry try the press on halfway, but Leicester play round it. Here's Dewsbury Hall, centre of the Coventry half. Strong run, tries to flick it left to pick out Cassidy, and then Mavididi, who's seen very little of the ball so far in these early stages, Steffi Mavididi, but he has it now. Faced up by Vanny White. Goes in field, and that should be won back by Godden, and Palmer's got room to gallop into the Leicester half of the field. Palmer, options left and right. Left is Bidwell, making a steaming run down the left-hand side. Bidwell's cross into the area, headed out by Cassidy, back defending, and picked up by Dewsbury Hall, but he runs into trouble. Good foot in from Liam Kitching. Ball drops on halfway, and that was good skill by Ben Sheaf to just keep it away from Tom Cannon. Now the Japanese, Sakamoto, on the right-hand side, the far side of the field from us, just jinks in field for a moment, gets his head up, and the next not to play a forward pass, but knocks it back instead to the two centre-halves. Still a furious tempo to this game, Dean Ashton.
Oh, absolutely, and they have been swift on the counter-attack. Coventry, when they have won the ball back, they've flooded bodies forward, they've been excellent in their tempo of play, the quality's been reasonably good as well, and, you know, a fair way into the game already, and Leicester haven't had a touch in the opposition box yet, which I think says everything about the good start that Coventry have made.
That's Dean Ashton, you can hear alongside me, Ian Dante here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. 12 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Leicester City top of the table, looking to go 13 points clear if they get the win here, but Coventry have been asking questions early on. Here's Godden for Coventry, out to the left hand side, and Jake Bidwell. Palmer again trying to show his strength to outpace Pereira, and then he's won it back as he'd been dispossessed, and he lets a shot go that I think Hermansen had covered at his near post. It's a low daisy cutter from Casey Palmer, worth a go. Ends up being a goal kick to Leicester City, 0-0.
Again, that's what you've got to be. You've got to be really sharp in terms of out of possession against Leicester, because they will, as soon as Leicester win the ball back, they look to just quickly play it in towards Winks, and brilliantly Palmer just nipped in, took a shot, dragged it wide. It was a poor effort in the end, but what's happened here? The referee's foam has exploded.
Yeah, his vanishing spray, it looks like he's trying to build a snowman in the centre of the
it looks like
Leicester half of the field.
Thrown a massive snowball over the top of the stand.
We've all had it on a flight, on a long haul flight, haven't we? Our shaming foams come out the case and ruined everything, and it's happened to the referee. That must have been an interesting feeling he had strapped to his backside when that went off. Fresh horses, think he's got a new supply. We can continue, but it looks like there's a snowball.
What are they going to do?
They should have got to smooth it out. I mean, that's a big blob of shaving foam. That's not going to vanish like they do for the free kicks. It's going to be a goal kick to Leicester City, and Godden's waiting like a sprinter on the 18-yard line for Vestergaard to give the ball back to his keeper. But Godden has to wait until the keeper touches the ball before he can run into the area. So he's got to wait again. Now he can go in. And Hermansen just plays it back to Vestergaard. Winks at the edge of his own penalty area, turns, almost dispossessed by O'Hare. Lovely skill from Cassidy, but his opposite number, Sakamoto, gets back at him. And nobody's getting more than a couple of seconds on the ball in those central areas of the pitch, particularly at 0-0.
Yeah, they've been brilliant. Coventry out of possession so far. And so far it'll be a real test for these Leicester City players.
Forward they come though, Leicester City, and it's Kiernan Dewsbury Hall in the centre of the half. Releases Cannon down the left-hand side of the area, onside, says the assistant. Gives it back for Mavididi at the edge of the box, left-hand corner. Tries the shot, headed away by Thomas, and drops out on the right wing for Leicester on this near side to Usain Fatawu. Gives it back to Fass on halfway. It was being closed down by Matt Godden.
First little gap though that just appeared, hadn't it?
Yeah.
Between Van Eerwijk and Thomas. That ball just played down the side for Cannon. I think he's got to have more confidence there to let that run across his body onto his left foot and take the strike on. Instead he stopped, he came back, gave it to Mavididi, and then it was good block.
I was expecting a striker with 3 and 2 to have taken that on a bit further. You're right, Dean. You listen to Coventry 0, Leicester 0 in the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. Mavididi goes down under pressure from Van Eerwijk. Referee says play on. Coventry have possession inside their own half with O'Hare. Sakamoto on the right hand side works it infield to the captain, Ben Sheaf. And he gives the ball left to Liam Kitching. Once of Barnsley. Back for Bobby Thomas. Ball along the deck up to halfway, and Godden, who's got Vestergaard at his back, who nudged into him. And that's a foul for Coventry City to have a free kick pretty much bang on halfway. We played a quarter of an hour on TalkSport 2. Brilliant opening quarter hour as well. 0-0 the score. But plenty of hurry-scurry about the way both teams are going about their business, but especially Dean Ashton, the hosts here.
Yeah, they've come with a real intent to make it as difficult as possible for Leicester in possession, where a lot of teams have sat back and just allowed Leicester plenty of the ball with no real pressure. Not today. It's a real test for your touch as a top player when a team has got the intensity that Coventry have.
Dewsbury Hall slides the ball out to Mavididi, left-hand side, but he elects to knock it back towards the halfway and just in. Now Winks in the centre circle, turns away from O'Hare and gives the ball back to Yannick Vestergaard. Vestergaard just rolls his foot on the ball as he gets into the centre circle. Laid off by Tom Cannon, plays a neat 1-2. Tries to play it through the legs of Thomas. It almost broke for Cannon again at the edge of the Coventry box, but the Sky Blues win it back. and it's knocked back by Josh Eccles to his goalkeeper Bradley Collins. 0-0.
Yeah, close that, wasn't it? Surprising to see Dewsbury Hall with a poor touch there as it fizzed into him. I mean, the surface is zippy, to say the least, so it has to be absolutely perfect when you've got those quick 1 and 2 touch play around the penalty area.
That was Yannick Vestergaard at the back for Leicester City. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0 is the current score in the Premier League lunchtime match over on TalkSport right now. Justin, lovely ball down the left-hand side, trying to release Mavididi. He's got Bobby Thomas at his back. Gets to the dead ball line, keeps it in play brilliantly, Steffi Mavididi. Now he's got Van Ewijk causing him problems, and Van Ewijk has to concede the corner kick. Leicester's first of the game at the South Stand end, 0-0.
First time he's actually running behind. I don't think that's a wise idea over there, Mavididi. He just kicked the ball into the crowd.
And the crowd threw the ball back, and it hit the ball that he placed on the corner quadrant. And is the referee going to book him? Because Darren England's going over to have a word with Steffi Mavididi. And I think it might just be a word.
Well, it's
with the Leicester number 10.
It's not wise. Slightly naive from Mavididi to kick that into the crowd. I mean, this support doesn't need any encouragement, does it, inside this stadium? The atmosphere is fantastic.
It is just a quiet word in his shell-like. So Mavididi will have the corner in the southeast corner of the stadium. Plays it short along the dead ball line to Dewsbury Hall. Gives it back to Mavididi. Infield to Winks. Winks sends the ball into the area. Attempted diving header from Cannon flying in at the near post, but Coventry win it back. And O'Hare's on the charge over halfway, but that's well tidied up by Ricardo Pereira back to his keeper. And it stays 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Terrific header that from Thomas as that came in, because Cannon took a massive dive towards it, and Thomas just got his arm across, managed to head that away, but head it away to almost...
Terrible back pass from Vestergaard. Wasn't on target, but it went sailing behind for a corner kick to Coventry at the North Stand end. 0-0 the score, approaching the 20-minute mark, and Coventry asking questions once again, and that will be the second corner of the game.
But that's what they'll want. They'll want to put a little bit of doubt into the minds of the defenders when they have got the ball. Make them rush, make them make mistakes.
So the corner will be either Josh Eccles with a long-range effort, or Callum O'Hare, who's come for the short corner just next to him. Eccles raises his right arm. O'Hare now runs away from him as it's delivered into the near post, headed away by Dewsbury Hall. Comes out to the centre of the half. Van Ewijk for Coventry. Plays it left for Palmer. Van Ewijk wants it back in the centre circle, and he receives it now. Slides it out to Sakamoto on the Coventry right. Early ball from Sakamoto into the area. The heads go up. Good claim by Mads Hermansen, coming to the centre of his goal mouth and getting both hands on it. 0-0.
Yeah, it was just floated too high from Sakamoto. That needed to be drilled low for someone to go and attack it and not allow the goalkeeper just to come out and claim.
Coventry City 0, Leicester City 0 as we approach the midway point of the first half on TalkSport 2. Part of our triple header of championship commentaries for you this afternoon on your home of the EFL, TalkSport 2. Cardiff leads at 3, Ipswich Sunderland at 5:30. 0-0 here, but brilliant control from Matt Godden as the ball was really fizzed into him. Ball 6 inches above the ground. He controlled it superbly. Feeds it out left to Bidwell. Back in field for Sheaf. Now Palmer trying to get up to the edge of the area. Ricardo Pereira slides in, gets it half clear, but it's back with the sky blue shirts of Coventry. Eccles tried to play a 1-2 with O'Hare, but just couldn't control the return pass. But they still have possession, the home side. Sheaf and his midfield partner Eccles now on halfway. It's given back to Liam Kitching. Square ball for Bobby Thomas on the right of centre. Tries to drill it infield for O'Hare, but Vestergaard stuck in front of his man. And then O'Hare just really a pest and getting in the way of Cassidy and winning the ball back for Coventry City. Here they come again with Eccles. Bidwell's calling for it. Slid down the left-hand side of the area. Gets it now. Tries to pull a cross back into the near post. Touches heavy from Godden. He'll get it back though. Gets the shot away. Deflected wide for a Coventry corner again at the North Stand end. 0-0.
Yeah, just kept it alive in the penalty area there, Matt Godden. He first tried to have a stab at it from Bidwell's cross, and then when it came back to him, he only had one thing in his mind. He never even looked up to see if there was anyone on the edge of the box. He just swiveled and took the shot, hoping it would flash through one of the Leicester players' legs, or maybe take a deflection, and it did, but for a corner.
Coventry have won 182 corners this season. Only Southampton have won more. Here comes another one into the near post, headed out well by Kester, back defending. Sakamoto keeps the ball alive for Coventry. Palmer plays it back out left to Eccles, who took the corner. He puts a diagonal ball into the box, headed out by Vestergaard. Good header as well to find Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, and a chance for Leicester City to counter. But Dewsbury Hall in the end has to play a square ball to Mavididi, and now Winks goes through the gears as he comes over halfway, taking the ball with him. Slides it out to this near side for Fatawu. Back in field for Harry Winks. Laid off to him by Dewsbury Hall. But then it goes back to Wout Faes, and the impetus of any chance for a counter-attack for Leicester is gone.
Yeah, just going back to Callum O'Hare, who obviously was brilliant out of possession just a moment ago. Did he keep that in, Mavididi?
Mavididi did keep it in play over on the far side, but at the expense of giving possession back to Coventry. And now in slides Ben Sheaf, does really well to find Palmer. Palmer trying to get Matt Godden away in between the two centre-halves, and he nearly did. But Wout Faes was wise to it and got a foot in just before Matt Godden tried to tow it away from him and get in on goal. 0-0.
He's sharp, Matt Godden, but he's not quick over a longer distance. And I think Wout Faes has got the beating of the Coventry City centre-forward. But just again, going back to Callum O'Hare, what he's so good at in that 10 position, he just keeps jabbing out of the position, getting involved, back in, getting involved, back in, just to keep that tempo nice and high when Coventry have possession.
Foul by Casey Palmer on Wout Faes, who was making strides down the inside right position for Leicester City. So the Foxes have a free kick to the right of centre. So the fresh can of vanishing spray that's been given to Darren England appears to be functioning all right, rather than the one that exploded on him about 10 minutes ago. What if that goes in his report? He sends it into the PGMOL. So free kick for Leicester to be taken on this near side by Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Pretty much everybody at the 18-yard line, regardless of what shirt they're wearing. Fatawu waiting about 25 yards out in case any bits and pieces come his way. Swung in by Dewsbury Hall, but straight into the grateful arms of Bradley Collins, and the danger passes for Coventry. It's 0-0 midway through the first half.
Feels a waste, doesn't it, when you've got the ability of Kiernan Dewsbury Hall to deliver from set plays, and you've got the threat about Faes and Vestergaard and Justin and the likes. Shame to just overhit that, really, because they've not really had a look, Leicester, as yet. Just the one shot from Mavididi that was blocked early, but not one on target yet.
0-0. Coventry have possession at the edge of their own penalty area with the centre-half Liam Kitching. Plays a 1-2 with Eccles. It's then rolled back to Bradley Collins. It looks a little wayward, that pass at first, but he's picked it up. And now the game's down at walking pace, and then Collins releases it to Bobby Thomas, who looks up and spots the run of Godden, making a charge into the Leicester half. But again, Wout Faes reads the run and gets himself in a very good position to clear the ball for Leicester City, and then the Foxes win a throw on the far side. 0-0.
Yeah, it's a feature that's continuing to happen, isn't it? Godden looks to run in behind. The touch isn't absolutely perfect, and then Faes is too quick and too strong and just gets himself into the right position to win the ball.
Now made 50 league appearances, Wout Faes, the Belgian for Leicester, and he's in possession now as he trots toward the halfway line. Just stops for a moment, puts his foot on the ball and rolls the ball infield to Ricardo Pereira. Early ball over halfway, but Sakamoto stepped in front of Cassidy to win it back. Just ran around the referee to get the touch, the Japanese international. Now it's brought forward by Sheaf. Rides the challenge of Dewsbury Hall. Has to knock it back 10 yards or so to Van Ewijk. Then Sakamoto tries to combine with Van Ewijk, but good work from James Justin down that left-hand side, and Leicester end up winning a throw pretty much bang on halfway. 0-0 still the score on TalkSport 2.
I was going to say, I thought it was Darren England that intercepted that first pass.
So that's what Cassidy thought, wasn't it?
He was furious with the referee, who sort of held his hands up to say, look, where am I meant to go? Coventry didn't make the most of that. Again, it was good defensive work from Justin.
They like a clean sheet here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. They've kept 9 this season, Coventry, home and away. Mind you, Leicester have kept 10. But you get the feeling there's goals in this game. 26 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Coventry 0, Leicester 0.
I've seen this a few times as well this season with Leicester, where teams look as if they've had a good period. They look as if they're making it difficult for Leicester City. And as the game's progressed, they've come into the game, Leicester, and they've ended up winning the game because of their quality. They only need moments here and there.
Fatawu for Leicester chips the ball into the box. It's going to go behind, is it? Or Cassidy tried to hook it back across the face of goal, but the ball had already gone dead. When I look at the stats for these opening 25 minutes or so, Dean Ashton, it's very, very even. 52-48 in terms of possession. 90% accurate passing from both, pretty much. But the changes are the shots in from Coventry. 4 from them, 1 from Leicester so far.
They've been super efficient, haven't they, when they broke from winning the ball back off Leicester City. And Leicester yet to get into any rhythm. I can't think of one attack that Fatawu has even been involved in. And Mavadidi has had a couple of moments without really looking dangerous.
Now Callum O'Hare making a run through the centre of the field. Out comes Hermansen, the goalkeeper, to chest it away. Tries to hook it past Eccles. And then down goes Sheaf as he was hauled back by Cassidy with Hermansen way out of his ground. Coventry tried to take advantage of the fact there was nobody in nets. But a foul right in front of the centre circle gives Coventry a free kick. But Mads Hermansen had to try and make that because O'Hara made a very well-timed run through the middle, 0-0.
Well, if you're going to come out, then you've got to mean it and you've got to commit to it. And at least that's what Hermansen did. He came out, he won the first one, he then went straight through ball, player, everything with the challenge that he made and then raced back into his goal.
And now he waits in his 6-yard box with Coventry having this free kick. Leicester are holding a very high line, a good 25 yards out. It's very central, this free kick, just in front of the centre circle for Coventry. And Josh Eccles is the man standing over it. Plays it short to the captain, Sheaf. And then Sheaf has the ball taken off his toe by Fatawu, who puts it out for a throw into Coventry. Down this near side, the left. Bidwell finds O'Hare, gives it back to the left back, Bidwell, and another throw. Fatawu again gets the foot in. He claimed that it was, in actual fact, a Leicester throw. Darren England unmoved, so the throw is nearly 10 yards from the corner flag, with Coventry attacking the north stand. Sheaf gives it back to Bidwell, and we'll work it back, Sheaf, to Bobby Thomas, just in front of the centre circle. Slides it out to Sakamoto on the right wing, isolating James Justin. Sakamoto feinted to go on the outside and then dragged it past him. Brilliant work from the Japanese. Gets to the byline, pulls it back, headed away by Dewsbury Hall. A volley goalwards from Bidwell, breaks for Casey Palmer 25 yards out. He's running along the line, left to right, couldn't get the shot away, but he's found Sakamoto, gives it back to Palmer. Palmer with a cross into the box, looking for the run of Sheep, but Sheep had barged into Fatawu. And it's a free kick, and Fatawu was not happy with the attention given to him by Ben Sheaf and tried to retaliate, but he was just pulled away by some Leicester teammates to prevent a flashpoint there. Free kick Leicester, 0-0.
Well, I've got to say that was class over that far side from Sakamoto. Whew, he sent Justin, didn't he? He properly went as if he was going to block the cross.
Oh, he's had to pay to get back in, isn't he?
He has. And then actually it's brilliant defensive work from Fatawu, because Sheaf was about to head that goalwards and he'd made sure that he did his defensive work and didn't switch off.
Really fascinating game this, goalless but so much going on TalkSport 2. Ricardo Pereira finds Justin, the two fullbacks quite narrow infield at the moment for Leicester. Winks gives it back to Vestergaard just inside his own half, and he plays a short 1-2 with Ricardo Pereira. Now Dewsbury Hall in a slightly more advanced position, works it out to Fatawu. First time he's really isolated Bidwell. Down the right hand side, gets to the right hand corner of the box. Fatawu elects to lay it off to Ricardo Pereira. First time ball into the box, strong header clear by Thomas, flicked on by Palmer. Coventry give chase, but Fast will get there first, and Fast will give it back to his goalkeeper Hermansen.
It just gives you so much confidence, I think, as a centre-back, knowing that when you're under severe pressure, you can just whack it back to your goalkeeper, knowing they're more than comfortable to deal with it, and then you can reset and start a build-up again.
Vestergaard floats the ball out to the Leicester left-hand side, and it's James Justin being watched by Sakamoto. Rolls it back down the line towards the halfway point, and Cassidy. Vestergaard now picks up possession for Leicester. Has the ball at his feet, looking for an option. Short pass to Ricardo Pereira is on, who gives it back to Vestergaard. Didn't feature at all in the Premier League last year, Yannick Vestergaard, but rejuvenated in this Championship campaign under Enzo Maresca. Now it's with Harry Winks, just in front of the halfway line. Plays it along the halfway line from left to right for Fass. Ball along the deck for Cannon. Good ball. Well, it looked like a good ball at first. And then a foul by Dewsbury Hall as Palmer threatened to break clear. And Darren England saying, one more and you're in the book, son, to Kiernan Dewsbury Hall for that foul on Casey Palmer. 0-0.
He's a little bit lucky not to have picked up a yellow card there, because that's ultimately stopping a counter-attack for Coventry. Palmer just gives them something slightly different in terms of that running power with the ball. He can go past players. He's just been a little bit sloppy, actually.
Leicester win the ball back. Dewsbury Hall, 35 yards out, gives the ball to Mavididi. Back for Dewsbury Hall inside the area. Oh, he nutmegs Thomas. Dewsbury Hall to the dead ball line, tries to pull it back, and it ricochets off two Coventry players and just bounces gently into the arms of Bradley Collins. 0-0.
Well, isn't it interesting? Dewsbury Hall, for the first time, goes from this right-hand side of the midfield. He goes over to that left-hand side, which is normally his favoured side. Combines brilliantly with Mavididi. Lovely little nutmeg on Thomas, who did well defensively to get back. It might have struck the arm, it might not have done, but just shows that's his favourite position, Dewsbury Hall. He's better on that side.
Casey Palmer brings the ball downfield for Coventry. Sheep on the overlap outside him, down this near side of the left. Back comes Ricardo Pereira. Good defending from Pereira. The clearance downfield from Fass is intercepted by Liam Kitching in the centre of the half. Finds Sakamoto 30 yards out. Snapshot from him, blocked at source by Justin. Lovely skill from Dewsbury Hall as he brings it clear for Leicester City, galloping over halfway. Plays it left for Mavididi, trying to isolate Van Ewijk. Mavididi up to the edge of the box. Threatened to shoot, then slid in for Cassidy. Put it wide. Big chance, Cesare Cassidy. Slid in by Dewsbury Hall down the left-hand side of the box. He let the ball run across his body and hit a low left-footed shot with an instep, but it went just the wrong side of the post. Goal kick, Coventry, 0-0.
Oh, it's a great chance. It's a brilliant chance for Cassidy, but this is all Kiernan Dewsbury Hall's work. First of all, he just put it round the side of a defender and got it the other side to start the break. Clever play to play it to Mavididi. When it came back to him, most players would have taken a shot with their left foot. He didn't. He just cushioned it into Cassidy's path on the left-hand side of the area, and he's gone with his left foot when I think the inside of the right, trying to curl it into the far corner, would have been the play. Very difficult from the position we're in to see just how close that was, but it looked very, very close.
Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you on TalkSport 2 with just over 10 minutes to half-time in our opening commentary of the three that we're bringing you from the Championship today on TalkSport 2. Your home of the EFL. Keep it here for Cardiff City, Leeds United at 3. With Nigel Adley and Perry Groves, and then Joe Shannon and Scott Minto will be at Portman Road for Ipswich Town against Sunderland at 5:30. So much going on in the Championship. Now Sakamoto tried to play a through ball for Godden, who was caught on his heels and was probably offside anyway as Leicester suddenly pushed up toward the halfway line. He's a real box of tricks, Tatsuhiro Sakamoto. Scored a couple in the last league out in Coventry. They went up to Middlesbrough and won by 3-1. A real statement win that was for Mark Robbins' side. But now they're up against the league leaders. O'Hare clipped by Cannon, and that's a free kick for Coventry inside their own half.
But that's now probably, I think I've counted 5 times Coventry have looked to play that ball over the top, because Leicester do play with a high line at times, and every single time it's been overhit and it's gone to Hermansen, who starts high anyway. So that ball either has to just be dinked over the top, or it has to be properly passed into the feet of the player that's running in behind, because at the moment they're wasting those opportunities.
Coventry in possession with centre-half Bobby Thomas. Gives it back to Bradley Collins. Don't forget TalkSport Breakfast back from 6 a.m. Monday morning. Looking back on all the weekend's action with Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist. If you like music in the morning, Chris Evans is on Virgin from 6:30 every weekday morning. And the TalkSport app, your one-stop shop for everything. Leicester coming forward, but Fatawu attempted ball in field was snaffled back for Coventry by the hard-working Sakamoto. And now here's Eccles guiding it down to Liam Kitchen. Kitchen chips the ball up to halfway. Godden flicks it on really nicely for Callum O'Hare. Charging down the left wing, no support at the moment. Now coming forward is Casey Palmer to the edge of the area. Palmer tries to go on the outside of Justin. Brilliant defending by James Justin. And he was nudged to the ground by Casey Palmer and wins Leicester a free kick when it looked dangerous at the back for the Foxes for that moment. 0-0.
And that's just the last little piece for Casey Palmer, is that decision making when he gets into the final third, because it was a great position. He took a great first touch, and then for some reason he thought that he could just push it and outrun James Justin, which was never going to happen. That's one of his biggest strengths, Justin, is that turn of pace, playing in that fullback position. That again feels like a waste. Good play from Godden and Callum O'Hare to pick out Palmer, and then just that decision making.
That was a yellow card for Casey Palmer there.
It was for England booting it against the hoardings, in frustration.
Mavididi for Leicester down the other end of the field as they attack the south stand, but that's good defending by Milan Van Ewijk. Hit it against the legs of Mavididi and ricocheted behind, away to our right for a goal kick to Coventry City. The bright sunshine is now just starting to dip behind the south stand away to our right, so Dean Ashton might be able to take the hoodie off the top of his head. But this is, a 29,000 crowd, loving every second of this.
And it's been, look, we haven't had a goal yet, but it's been absolutely terrific. The tempo, and it just shows the turnover of possession from both sides. It showed the intensity of either side out of possession has been outstanding.
Well, they're screaming for a yellow card here, the Coventry fans, for a foul on O'Hare. I think it was Cassaday, just inside the Cov half. But a free kick only. And it's played out to this near side for Jake Bidwell, but Fatawu was right next to him when he received the ball. He couldn't take the ball downfield, the left back. And an attempted ball downfield from Sheaf just hits the head of Tom Cannon and rebounds back to Bradley Collins. Now Palmer, almost dispossessed by Ricardo Pereira, or given away by Kitchen, but he returned for the error as Winks was very nearly in him. What a ball it turned out to be in the end from Liam Kitchen to pick out Sakamoto down the Coventry right. O'Hare on the penalty spot. Oh, it's pulled back to him by Van Ewijk, and he couldn't get the shot away. Almost bounced over his left boot as he tried to stroke it home. Throw into Leicester on this near side, 0-0.
Well, if he did mean that, Kitchen, it's a ridiculously outstanding pass from a tight defensive area, playing all the way out to Sakamoto. He then got down the side, it got cut back to O'Hare on the penalty spot. Like you said, he opened his body up to hit it with the inside of his left foot, and he skimmed off his foot rather than hitting the meat of the inside of the foot, and actually he's gone out for a throw-in. Again, that would probably have been better, going with the right foot, coming and meeting it.
Just over 5 to half-time. Coventry 0, Leicester 0. Coventry win it back centre of the Leicester half. Eccles goes down, but it's one back for possession for Coventry by Sakamoto. They took it back towards the halfway line, and indeed all the way back to their keeper Bradley Collins, away to our right. Enzo Maresca just beyond his technical area, barking out a few instructions. Mark Robbins, hands in pockets, down to our right hand side. Not normally a particularly vocal coach on the side, but he's now seems to be sending a signal to tell his players to get the ball down the field a little bit quicker.
I think he'd be absolutely delighted, though, with the way that his team have approached this game against Leicester. You know, it takes bravery to sort of take on and press Leicester City because of their quality, and they can play through you. But every single player, when the ball has gone into an opponent, has been so tight to them to make it difficult. And if just one person switches off, that's where a really good team like Leicester will play through you.
Patson Daka and Kelechi Iheanacho unavailable for AFCON reasons. Harry Souttar also at the Asian Cup for Australia. Here's Fatawu for Leicester, suddenly receiving the ball at the edge of the box. It's half cleared by Coventry, comes back to Harry Winks, right hand corner of the box, just chips the ball towards the 6-yard line. Casey Palmer got in front of his man. Dewsbury Hall tries a pile driver of a shot, bounced into somebody's chest. There were claims for a penalty not given, and Coventry bring the ball away. Jay Bidwell slides it down the left hand side. Brilliant defending by Wout Faes, so calm and composed, with Casey Palmer bearing down on him. That was beautifully done from Wout Faes. 0-0.
Yeah, excellent defensive composure from Wout Faes. All the Leicester City fans behind the goal felt it was a handball. Kitchen, it struck from Dewsbury Hall's strike. Very, very difficult. I thought his arms were pretty close to his body. He may well have hit it.
It's a fearsome hit from Dewsbury Hall. That much was quite clear. Really struck it.
I don't think he would have had a chance to have even moved his arm.
Dewsbury Hall. Oh, it's a penalty kick. He's gone down. And Dewsbury Hall has won a penalty for Leicester City. And Bobby Thomas has brought him down. There was a ricochet that worked for Dewsbury Hall. He was quickly onto it, just inside the area. Yellow card for the Coventry defender. And out of nothing, Leicester City have won a penalty kick with 3 minutes to half-time.
Well, this is a massive call. Like you said, that ricochet just fell for Dewsbury Hall. He was onto it in a flash as well, though. Really bright play from the Leicester City midfielder. He definitely gets a touch, but it feels as if it then ricocheted off it. Van Erwijk as well. And I think that's why they cannot believe it's been given as a penalty. But Darren England felt as if the touch was enough from Dewsbury Hall to take him beyond the Coventry City defender, even if he did get a touch on it, toward the penalty and a yellow card.
So it'll be Dewsbury Hall having won the penalty to take the penalty for Leicester City.
I just wonder if the tackle was quite high from Van Erwijk. But he was quick, wasn't he, Darren England? He had no hesitation whatsoever.
Very
straight
quick.
away pointed to the spot, so he felt it was clear.
In front of the Leicester fans, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall with a chance to give Leicester City the lead from the spot in the late stages of the first half. Bradley Collins bouncing up and down on his goal line. Referee checking for encroachment right along the 18-yard line. Will now blow his whistle and give Dewsbury Hall the chance to score the opener. Going to be a left-footed hit from Dewsbury Hall. Takes it, sends the keeper the wrong way, puts it into the bottom right-hand corner, and Leicester City lead the derby by a goal to nil. And it's Kiernan Dewsbury Hall from the spot.
Well, whether it should have been a penalty or not, the coolness, the calmness, of course, of Kiernan Dewsbury Hall from the penalty spot. Just took his time, waited for the goalkeeper to take a step to his left-hand side and just rolled it the opposite way into the back of the net.
And now he joins Steffi Mavididi as joint top scorer in the Championship for Leicester. 9 to his name now, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. And a very coolly struck penalty. Bobby Thomas did get yellow carded, and so did Tatsuhiro Sakamoto for a bit of back chat to the referee once that penalty was awarded for the foul by Thomas. But after all of Coventry's endeavour, Dean Ashton, and after all their high tempo and hurry-scurry, they've gone behind right on half-time here.
Yeah, it's a big blow, because they've been the better side, haven't they, in this first half? But I talked about it. You've got to really take your chances against this Leicester side, because they can cause you problems, and Dewsbury Hall was just so sharp onto the ricochet. And then clearly Bobby Thomas must have felt as if he had to intervene.
There's a bit of trouble away to our left-hand side in what is ostensibly a Coventry City part of the ground in terms of where fans are. Appear to be a couple of Leicester fans that have infiltrated one of the boxes in the corner, and it's all getting a bit unseemly over there. The stewards are in there trying to sort the problem out. Meantime, we're into 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first period on TalkSport 2, and Leicester have the lead, bidding to go 13 points clear at the top of the Championship before the 3 o'clock kickoffs. And it's the Leicester fans to our right in the south stand that are cheering and clapping, whilst the Coventry fans appear more engaged with what's happening in the executive boxes in the northwest corner. Meanwhile, Vestergaard plays the ball in field to Ricardo Pereira. Back it goes to Mads Hermansen, who made that vital save early on to tip Sakamoto's fierce drive onto the angle of post and bar and wide for a corner. Fatawu runs into Kitching and now might get it back as Kitching had a real swing at the ball and it ricocheted back into Leicester's path, and then a strong challenge from Fatawu. Red card! Abdul Fatawu is red carded for a strong challenge. Leicester are a goal up, but they're a man down. The league leaders have to play the rest of this game with 10. Abdul Fatawu given a straight red card by referee Darren England.
We could just see it. It felt as if he'd left the ground. He really dived into the challenge. Difficult to know just how much genuine contact there was, but really the way he went in, off the ground, stood showing. You leave the referee no real option. I mean, fair play to Jake Bidwell. He's just got up and got on with things, but he was absolutely clattered up and over Fatawu, and I don't think he can have any complaints with that. It was a reckless challenge.
So a red card for the 19-year-old on loan from Sporting in Portugal. There's a bit more belief coursing through the veins of the Coventry faithful around the CBS Arena. We played 2.5 minutes of the minimum 3 that were added on, but now Leicester have to reorganise. They might leave it to half-time and might make changes in terms of personnel, but they've got to do something tactically with a man light. Bidwell, who did, as Dean Ashton rightly says, get to the ground very quickly, having been scythed down by Fatawu. Palmer driving in field from this near side of the left, up to the edge of the area, laid off by Godden to Eccles. Now Van Ewijk gives the ball to Sakamoto down the right hand side of the box, beats Mavididi, clips the ball into the box. Good claim at his near post by Hermanson, and Leicester survive under the Coventry City attack. 1-0 to the Foxes.
Yeah, they have made use, because of that 3 defensive unit that Leicester have. They are quite narrow at times, therefore there is space out wide when they move the ball quickly. Sakamoto and Palmer in particular, and Bidwell have made use of that without really finding the end product.
Well, there goes the half-time whistle, and an absolutely extraordinary 45 minutes of high-tempo Championship football ends with the leaders of the Championship, Leicester City, a goal up on their near rivals Coventry City, but that only tells half the story. Coventry went very, very close to taking the lead early on when a Tatsuhiro Sakamoto shot was brilliantly tipped onto the angle of post and bar by Leicester keeper Mads Hermanson. Coventry were asking lots of questions in that first half, lots of high tempo, lots of pressing, but just as we reached half time, a ricochet fell for Kiernan Dewsbury Hall inside the Coventry box. The Leicester midfielder was brought down by Bobby Thomas, and Dewsbury Hall took the penalty and slotted it into the bottom corner to give Leicester the lead. But then just after that, Leicester down to 10 men, a straight red card for the youngster Abdul Fatawu for a scything challenge on Jake Bidwell. So at half-time, the Championship leaders are a goal up but a man down. Fascinating second half in store here on TalkSport 2. It is Coventry City 0, 10-man Leicester 1. Thanks very much, Adrian. Team's back out here. We're just seeing a replay of that challenge from Abdul Fatawu on Jake Bidwell. And yeah, it's not great, Dean Ashton, is it? I mean, as I said, we don't have replays, so we've had to look back on our producer's monitor at half-time, but not ideal. And that the change has been made. Casey McAteer has been brought on for Steffi Mavididi for a half-time change for Leicester City. McAteer's not been around. He's had a few injury problems of late, but he's straight back in and pitched back in by Enzo Maresca. What do you make of that change, Dean Ashton?
Well, it has to be tactical in the way they're going to set up in this second half, and what Enzo Maresca wants from his side. Because, I mean, he was pretty quiet, wasn't he, Mavididi, in that first half. I'm sure there'll be a reason behind it. But you're right, he made an excellent start to the season. McAteer, exciting young player. Good to see him back.
Leicester youth who spent last year on loan at AFC Wimbledon for a time, and he's been out for just over a month. Last game he played was early December against West Brom, and he's back in. So that's the only change we have at half-time. McAteer on, Mavididi off. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment, with Coventry in their sky blue shirts attacking the south stand to our right in this second half. Dean and I were sat in the west stand here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, more in the Coventry half of the field than the Leicester half to our right. as Liam Kitching overhits a pass. So I can run you through the alignments for Coventry. Collins in goal, Vanny, White, Thomas, Kitching, Bidwell at the back, Sakamoto, Sheaf, Eccles, Palmer in midfield, O'Hare and Godden up front. For Leicester now it's Hermanson in goal, Pereira, Vestergaard, Fass, Justin, Cassidy, Winks, McAteer, Dewsbury Hall and Cannon. And a goal kick for Mads Hermanson, who can dispense with the cap. Now he's got the sun at his back, but then Bradley Collins doesn't have to worry about a cap because the sun has fully disappeared behind the south stand to our right hand side, so the pitch now completely in shade. Still a lovely afternoon, a few wispy white clouds up above us and not too cold, not as cold as it sounds at the Cardiff City Stadium where Adrian, Nigel and Perry are at the moment. My heart bleeds. Liam Kitching possession. I don't know why I thought to say that. Perry will kill me tomorrow. Perry and I are doing the Sunday session tomorrow on TalkSport from 1:30 to 6:30. Proper shift we're putting in tomorrow with a lot of Premier League, EFL and FA Women's FA Cup action. Coventry coming forward in the early stages of the second half. A cross from O'Hare from the left, skied over his own crossbar by James Justin. He had to get something on it because I think he knew that Tatsuhiro Sakamoto was steaming in behind him, but he's conceded an early corner for Coventry City in this second half at the south stand end away to our right. 1-0 Leicester.
Excellent run from Callum O'Hare. If you're going to play in that role behind the striker, you sometimes have to get beyond him, and he did down the side and just played it in blind. Actually, I don't think he had a look, Callum O'Hare, just played it in, difficult for Justin to handle. He did well actually to get it over the top.
Eccles with the corner, right-footed outswinger deep to the far post. Kitching went up, drops for Palmer outside the area. I think he tried a shot. Oh, brilliantly kept in by Josh Eccles because it landed near the corner flag. Sakamoto plays the ball in, headed out by Cassidy. But Van Ewijk is the last man for Coventry on the halfway line and will retrieve the loose ball. I wonder whether this is the pattern of the game that we'll see in this second half, with the ball away to our right quite often, Dean Ashton, with that man advantage. Palmer trying to play the ball inside the fullback to get Bidwell away. Only half cleared by Leicester. O'Hare knocks it back for Bidwell. Infield for Eccles. Now Sakamoto, the live wire winger on the right hand side, finds Eccles. Sakamoto again tucks the ball infield to Sheaf. Sheaf trying to play the ball through the eye of the needle for Godden. Came back to Sheaf. He finds Palmer at the edge of the area. Palmer playing it across to Godden. Godden onside, hits the ball against Hermanson. It's up in the air. The flag has finally gone up against Matt Godden. It wouldn't have counted had he managed to squeeze it through. But early signs of intent from Coventry City in this second half. 1-0 Leicester lead though.
Well, of course they're going to have to move it quickly. It's going to have to be good movement because Leicester City are just going to sit back and defend. Of course they are. Don't have much choice with a player less. It's going to be down to Coventry to break them down, but they've just got to be wary of Leicester on the counter-attack still. They'll still have that quality.
Well, goal kick downfield for Leicester. Cassidy falls theatrically to the floor, gets nothing out of Darren England. What sort of formation are they using, Leicester, at this point?
It's a 4-1-4 effectively, with just Winks in the middle on his own, but then McAteer on the right, Cassidy on the left, with Dewsbury Hall, when he can, supporting Cannon.
Down goes McAteer. No foul, says the referee, and Callum O'Hare tries to bring the ball down the Coventry left-hand side. Winks went with him. And then Fass hits the ball against Godden and wins a goal kick. And again, it's all action in these early stages of this second half. Where to look half the time, Dean Ashton, it's all kicking off.
Yeah, it's, isn't it? I think the one thing about the red card is it's come to a forward player. So defensively, that back four is intact. Winks in front of it, so that can feel very comfortable in the way that it sets up. There hasn't been a huge change in that sense. It's more about what the forward players can bring both defensively and offensively.
Goal kick downfield. Cassidy wrestled to the ground by Van Ewijk, so it's a Leicester free kick. Darren England just explaining through mime interpretation what it was that Van Ewijk had done. So Leicester, their second half comeback against Coventry was their first such second half comeback coming from behind in nearly 3 years when they did that on the opening weekend of the season. So a free kick for Dewsbury Hall. He's just been told to roll the ball back a yard or two from where he placed it.
Well, that's because he tried to steal 3 yards, that's why.
Wait until the referee's back was turned.
Yeah.
Now we will have the free kick. Coventry holding a high line at the edge of the D. In it comes, it might chest down into the path of James Justin. Gets the shot away and it's blocked on the line by Collins. He had more time than he realised there, James Justin. Turns again with a Cruyff turn. Gets a lovely left-footed ball into the far post. McAteer heads it goalwards, caught under the crossbar by Bradley Collins. I'm not sure that James Justin realised just how much time he had when he collected the ball inside the box there for Leicester. 1-0 Foxes.
He definitely didn't. That's why he rushed it. And also, I don't think he was trying to shoot. I think he was trying to play it just across for Vestergaard to tap in. Ricocheted their way again in this game. They just didn't take advantage of that one.
Coventry 0, Leicester 1. 6 minutes gone in the second half on TalkSport 2. Here's Tatsuhiro Sakamoto sliding in Vanny White down the right-hand side. Elects not to cross, but he rolls it back for Sakamoto. Up to the edge of the area, and Sheep is dispossessed. Lovely skill by Harry Winks to bring the ball away. Clips it along the halfway line for Dewsbury Hall, who chests it into his own path. Winks is there again, but back comes Milan Vanny White to get possession back for the hosts.
There is times when Harry Winks looks like he's just a level above the Championship in his reading of the game, his touch, his awareness. Just moments in every game I just think, yeah, he's too good for this league, and it's a brilliant signing from Leicester.
I think we've used the phrase cheat code a few times when referring to Harry Winks. Here is Milan Vanny White for Coventry, trailing by a 1-0 the Sky Blues. Now Sakamoto, level with the edge of the area, faced up by Justin, rolls the ball in field to Eccles. Eccles gives the ball out to Vanny White, tries to slide it down the right-hand side of the box. It's deflected behind for a corner by James Justin. That's 5 corners in the game for Coventry. The corner count rising again. I mentioned that only Southampton have had more corners awarded to them than Coventry in the Championship this season.
Can they make the most of one of them, though?
I think that's the stat I need to look at. How many of those corners have actually...
Well, certainly in this game, you know, Leicester got plenty of height in there themselves.
The 6-yard box is absolutely jam-packed. As Sakamoto sends the left-footed ball in swinger to the far post, and the referee's going to want it taken again. He spotted a bit of pushing before the kick was taken, so...
almost every Leicester City player is inside the 6-yard box, so why not find a way to get it to the edge of the box where O'Hare and Casey Palmer are stood?
Indeed, O'Hare's got nobody anywhere near him, stood just by the D. Sakamoto again only has eyes for the 6-yard box with this delivery. Clips it into the near post. It's cleared away by Justin. But Coventry will let the ball drift out of play.
They must be able to see that, surely, as players. You must be able to notice that there's absolutely nobody near the edge of the box, and is there a way of us manufacturing it into that position?
Then it's about the strength of the ball from Sakamoto, whether he trusts himself to find O'Hare or Palmer with that drilled low corner.
Which he obviously doesn't.
Indeed not. Casey Palmer finds Callum O'Hare with a little 1-2. O'Hare down the left-hand side for the hosts, who are still a goal down but a man up. Remember, if you're just tuning into EFL Game Day Live, Leicester scored with a penalty late on in the first half, but just after the penalty, Abdul Fatawu was given a straight red card for a lunge on Jake Bidwell. But Coventry still find themselves behind. Eccles at the right-hand corner of the area, slides it down the right-hand side of the box for Sakamoto. On the overlap is Vanny White. Good ball into the area. Good header straight at the goalkeeper. Matt Godden got up at the far post, but his header, whilst on target, was well dealt with by Mads Hermansen. Still 1-0 Leicester.
Terrific play down the right-hand side. Sakamoto into Van Eybeek. Picked out the perfect cross because he was right on the byline, so he dug it out towards the penalty spot. Perfect for Godden, who was up free header. Has to guide it better than that. Right into the arms of Hermansen. That needed to be in one of the corners.
Coventry 0, Leicester 1 on TalkSport 2 in front of a bumper crowd of 29,914 here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Back with Wout Faes. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Still no changes from Mark Robbins from the Coventry bench to try and counter what Enzo Maresca has done at the start of the second half, down to 10 men, bringing on McAteer for Mavididi. Justin finds the ball back to his keeper, Hermansen. Godden trying to close down the space. Hermansen clips the ball out to Dewsbury Hall. And although he didn't control it, it just went off the knee of Jake Bidwell and flew out for a Leicester throw on the far side. It's 11 years since the last M69 derby games that happened in the league. And Coventry have won just one of their last 8 home fixtures against the Foxes. That was when Chris Coleman took charge here back in February 2008. Goals from Elliot Ward and Leon Best got the better of Leicester that day.
That feels like a throwback, but that was almost my era. Which
I wasn't going to say anything, but you were the first player to score a goal when I started reporting for TalkSport. A penalty for Crewe against Cardiff back in 2004. That was a lifetime ago for both of us.
Yeah.
Ball's back with Yannick Vestergaard, the Leicester centre half. Plays the ball up to Winks, but he's got O'Hare at his back, but he skips away from Callum O'Hare neatly. Always in control, Harry Winks, it seems. Never flustered, never panicked. And his ball up to halfway is chested out of play by Bobby Thomas for a Leicester throw.
Just thinking of the Leicester build-up, especially from the back, as they like to be calm and play from goalkeeper to centre-back into midfield. Well, Hermansen gives you that extra player at the back because he's so comfortable and wants to play and offers it himself. Again, that shouldn't be an issue really in terms of keeping some possession at the back for Leicester.
Danish under-21 keeper Mads Hermansen made his debut for Leicester against Coventry in that opening game of the season at the King Power that we brought you on the TalkSport network back in August. That Fass tricks his way past Casey Palmer, and then down goes McAteer, caught by Sheaf. That's a free kick again to Leicester City.
I then think because of that, Coventry have to push forwards and start to press Hermansen as if he is actually an outfield player, because otherwise they'll just keep popping it back to him and Leicester won't be able to get into any sort of flow.
Still 1-0 to Chelsea. That late penalty in the first half from Cole Palmer separating Chelsea and Fulham at Stamford Bridge. That's live on TalkSport at the moment, remember. Now a foul on Callum O'Hare.
He's got the Grealishes about him in terms of he knows how to win a foul, doesn't he?
And the hairstyle as well is not unlike Jack
Grealish. The way he gets his body between the ball and his opponent just lends itself to being bumped to the floor.
Coventry have the ball on the right-hand side with Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, back for Josh Eccles. Palmer up to the edge of the area, almost slipped through for Matt Godden by Sakamoto, but away come Leicester, and it's Tom Cannon who gets up to halfway, and then Justin is caught by Eccles. Free kick to Leicester. You're listening to Coventry 0, Leicester 1 in the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. Nearly an hour gone at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Ian Danta and Dean Ashton with you. We get team news in about 10 minutes from my colleague Nigel Adderley at the Cardiff City Stadium. Cardiff against Leeds United is our 3 o'clock offering on TalkSport 2. Perry Groves will be alongside Nige. And then Joe Shannon and Scott Minto will bring you Ipswich against Sunderland. It's a 5:30 kickoff from Portman Road. It's part of our triple header of championship action this afternoon. An hour gone, exactly. Coventry in possession inside their own half with Kitching, squares the ball to his right for Thomas. Now Van Ewijk takes over, just slips the ball in field for Josh Eccles. His captain Ben Sheaf calling for it on the halfway line, shovels it out left to Jake Bidwell. Palmer gives it back to halfway. Now Bobby Thomas just steps away from Cassidy and moves into midfield. Bobby Thomas, good run from the centre half. Got the support from Sheaf. Sheaf gets to about 30 yards out, thought about having a shot for a moment. Running along the line, along the 18-yard box. Now Sakamoto's given it down the right-hand side of the box. Fires it into the near post. Thomas is there again and couldn't get the shot away. Even at the second attempt, Hermansen dived on the ball. But again, Coventry forcing the issue, but they can't get that opening goal that they want. It's still Leicester leading by 1-0.
No, well, Bobby Thomas stepped out brilliantly in that initial first phase of play, and then once the ball went wide, he probably thought, well, why not get myself in the box and be a threat? Made actually a striker's run across the near post, and actually it was brilliant defending to block his attempted shot, but it's just obvious that Leicester are going to defend that 18-yard box, that they're going to allow Coventry to have the ball wide, as they pretty much did in the first half, but as soon as that goes into the middle of the pitch, which they're making it difficult to get it into the feet of Callum O'Hare, who's finding it hard to find any sort of space.
Very high press from Coventry as Leicester take a short goal kick. But again, they managed to play the ball out, Leicester. Bounces down for Tom Cannon, but the ball's won back for Coventry. And then O'Hare trying to flick it down the right-hand side, thinking that Sakamoto had chalk on his boots on the touchline, but he was actually 5 or 6 yards further in than O'Hare suspected. So it's another throw to Leicester City. Lots of championship action this afternoon. Adrian Durham will keep you in touch around the grounds, as well as our commentary of Cardiff against Leeds. Adrian's based at Millwall this afternoon, where they're hosting Middlesbrough. You've also got Birmingham, Swansea, Huddersfield, Plymouth, Preston, Bristol City, Rotherham, Stoke, Southampton, Sheffield Wednesday, and West Brom, Blackburn in the 3 o'clock games. Here's Vanny White for Coventry, up to the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Sakamoto takes a touch, but he's been watched by Justin, clips it back into midfield for Liam Kitching. Leicester defending their own defensive third of the pitch, as Jake Bidwell finds Casey Palmer out to the left-hand side and Callum O'Hare. Palmer again, faced up by Dewsbury Hall, the goal scorer. Palmer wanting an option. Nobody's making any movement. It's all down at stationary pace at the moment. Palmer again out to the left-hand side and Bidwell, who's offside. The flag goes up on this near side. Bidwell wasn't looking along the line. Free kick to Leicester, who lead by 1-0. And as it stands, the National are going 13 points clear at the top.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, other than Callum O'Hare, possibly, have got the genuine creative ability to just cut through the middle of this Leicester defence in the manner that they were just trying to there, with tiny little passes here and there and 1 and 2 touch. I think they look much better when it's played out wide quickly, deliveries into the box. So they've got Sims, who's got a bit more height than possibly Godden. They've got Jamie Allen, who I like as a runner from midfield into the box who can score goals. That might be the way to go.
I think Sims is coming on sooner rather than later, actually, Dean. There's activity on the Coventry City bench as Sakamoto comes forward for the Sky Blues, finds Vanny White, tucks it infield to O'Hare, right-hand side for Coventry. O'Hare again coming infield to the centre of the half, squares the ball across to Eccles, now across to the left wing, and Casey Palmer looking to go on the outside of McAteer. They both fall in a heap, and the referee says to both of you, get up, goal kick.
He's not normally as sloppy as he has been today, Casey Palmer. He's a good dribbler of the ball, he's powerful, he's quick, but time again he's either overhit it like he just did there when he's dribbling, or he's just picked the wrong option. It's just not happened as yet for him today.
No, I like him. He's playing a slightly different role.
Yeah,
as a left winger in this 4-4-1-1. He can play in a number of different midfield positions, the former Bristol City man. Had spells at Charlton and Chelsea in his youth, Casey Palmer. He's trying to win the ball in the centre circle with a header at the moment, but Leicester do win it back. But Kitching's clearing header drops for Leicester's Casey McAteer, who came on at half-time as a substitute for the 10 men of Leicester, who still lead by 1-0. 64 minutes gone. Justin back to halfway, and Winks, who runs back into his own half, will give the ball back to his keeper, Hermansen, and he will boot it downfield. Long booming clearance out to the right wing looking for Cassidy, but Coventry tidy up. Drops on the halfway line, but Bidwell can't control it. Ricardo Pereira got there ahead of him, and back it goes to Wout Faes. Godden turns and presses him and presses Hermansen as the ball goes back to the Leicester keeper. Vestergaard finds Ricardo Pereira. Winks, he's given away. Here's Vanny White up to the edge of the area, flicks it out right to Sakamoto, level with the box, rolls it back infield to Ben Sheaf. Sheaf tries to get the ball out of his feet, gives it back to Vanny White. Early ball, it's tossed right into the air, and so comfortable for the goalkeeper Hermansen to claim on his goal line. Still 1-0 to Leicester, but still the pressing comes from the men with the one-man advantage. Dean Ashton.
It does, but I've been impressed so far with the way Leicester have defended. Very organised structure, difficult to break through. Good pressing in and around the penalty area, making Coventry have to be perfect with the pass.
That's a foul by Cassidy on Van Ewijk inside his own half. And finally the change is ready, and Jay De Silva and Jamie Allen are coming on. And Jake Bidwell, who got clattered by Adil Fatawu for that red card. I'm not sure whether that's the reason he's coming off, but coming off he is. And Josh Eccles is the other player that's being withdrawn to allow Jamie Allen to come on. So like-for-like switches in both senses, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I just think you wonder whether there's an issue for Bidwell. Obviously, Jay De Silva, slightly different player. Might come inside a little bit more, actually, Jay De Silva, rather than going on the outside. And I talked about Jamie Allen. He's the most likely out of those midfield three that is likely to time his run into the box when those crosses are coming in.
So a double change for Coventry at the midway point of this second half. Live on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. Coventry City 0, Leicester City 1. The leaders holding on. But a quarter of the game to go. O'Hare turns the ball around the corner. Jamie Allen trying to get involved straight away. But Wout Faes again, who's been smashing this afternoon at the back for Leicester, tidies up. But Coventry win the ball back. Midway point of the Leicester half. Van Ewijk. Options left and right. Rolling his foot on the ball a couple of times. Sakamoto gives it back to him.
Wouldn't surprise me if Casaday's a player that gets pulled off. That's now 3 times in a row that Van Ewijk has just stepped in front of him when it's been played into him.
Ball over the top for Coventry, almost dropped for Matt Godden. Hit it against Winks just at the edge of the area. Half-hearted claims for a penalty. Leicester try and counter and get Tom Cannon away. The ball bounces over his shoulder. He's done well, but then Van Ewijk steps in front of Cannon, puts himself between him and the ball. He thought that was a surefire Coventry throw, but the referee says otherwise. Tom Cannon's won the throw for Leicester City, who lead 1-0 here on TalkSport 2.
Not quite sure how, because obviously we've got a brilliant position here to see that Tom Cannon got a chest on that. Van Ewijk got in front and just shouldered him out of the way and let the ball go out of play.
So Leicester have the throw 10 yards from the corner flag down this left-hand side as they attack the north stand in this second half. Justin throws it in looking for Cannon. Van Ewijk definitely concedes the throw that time, getting his foot in front of Tom Cannon. And Justin will have the throw once again, a bit closer to the corner flag this time. Launches it just inside the box, looking for Dewsbury Hall. But Thomas, well, you probably heard it on our effects microphones, he just hoofed it downfield. Gave it the proper up and under Gary Owen. And now Matt Godden almost onto a ball that bounces in the half awkwardly for Vestergaard. And then Godden fouls Vestergaard. Darren England gives the free kick Leicester City's way. Still 1-0 in the Midlands derby to the Championship leaders.
Well, he's not been scared of getting involved, Matt Godden, especially against Vestergaard, who's obviously got the height advantage. But he's put himself about, he's made it difficult up there, and he was furious that that decision didn't go his way. And they're starting to show little signs of frustration, Coventry, as you would do.
Only lost once at home all season, Coventry. That was back in October when they lost 2-0 here to West Bromwich Albion. I was here for that game, and they gave a very good account of themselves that night, Coventry, but West Brom just too clinical when it mattered. 7 draws here as well at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Throw in for Leicester, down by the corner flag on this near side. Coventry win it back. And then Sheaf runs into James Justin, who thought he was fouled by Sheaf. And when nothing was given by Darren England, he couldn't get to his feet quick enough to remonstrate James Justin. But we play on.
Yeah, he's evened it up. He gave the throw, and he's not going to give that foul.
20 minutes to go.
He can feel good about himself now.
Coventry City 0, Leicester City 1 on TalkSport 2. Your home of the EFL, off to the Cardiff City Stadium in a moment for team news for our 3 o'clock kickoff. Cardiff City against Leeds United. Meantime, here's Liam Kitching for Coventry, just running through the centre circle, get to the midway point of the Leicester half, lays it off to his right for Sheaf. Now Palmer has got De Silva calling for it out on the left hand side. De Silva up against McAteer, gives it back to Casey Palmer, left hand corner of the penalty area, trying to make space for a cross maybe. Back into midfield it goes. Kitching and Thomas now the centre halves. Thomas clips the ball into the box and it goes beyond Matt Godden, who's the furthest forward, well marshalled by McAteer. It's a goal kick to Leicester City.
Yeah, and what they're doing is they're making Coventry force it, making them force the issue. That wasn't really the angle for the cross there from Thomas, but he tried it anyway. It was easy for Leicester to defend. You've got to be really patient. You cannot force it. You have to wait until that extra player has got the advantage in the space and then use it quickly.
Goal kick bounces out of play just in front of our commentary position here in the West Stand, so Coventry have a throw. Still Ellis Sims warming up, and Fabio Tavares as well, I should say, is warming up too. Spent a year out injured. Tavares hasn't featured in the league yet this season. 2 striking options for Mark Robbins, but it's one of the substitutes already on that's in possession at the moment. Jay De Silva down the left hand side of the Leicester box. McAteer is there with him, gives it back via Callum O'Hare to Kitching. O'Hare tried to bring the ball into the box, but his touch allowed Winks to whack it clear. Coventry have it back though. There's nobody up on halfway for Leicester. They're defending their own penalty area at the moment. Sakamoto in possession for Coventry City, lays it off to Sheaf. Sheaf gets his head up, tries to give it back to Sakamoto at the edge of the area. Good defending by Vestergaard, and then a race between Tom Cannon and Ben Sheaf, but the ball was out of play before Cannon thought he'd careered his way on his own into the Coventry half of the field. Throw into the Sky Blues, where Leicester have won a free kick. They're 3-2 up, and Darren England, I think, has been told something by his 4th official Gavin Ward, and he's bidding Enzo Maresca towards him, and a yellow card comes the way of the Leicester manager for having had too much to say for himself on this near touchline, I assume.
Yeah, I think he felt that it was should have been a yellow card for Casey Palmer with the challenge on Dewsbury Hall. I didn't, but he's gone out of his technical area right to the edge of the pitch and clearly said something that's not advised.
Can Leicester hang on to this 1-goal scoreline that will take them 13 points clear at the top of the Championship and keep this extraordinary away form going? They're a goal up, and Cannon goes for goal with a snapshot of the edge of the area, pushed away by Bradley Collins and cleared away by Jay De Silva. Lovely shot on the turn from Tom Cannon there. Here come Coventry on the counter-attack. Callum O'Hare's got Jamie Allen outside of him, hugging the left wing. Allen gives the ball back down the left-hand side of the box to O'Hare. He tries to slide the ball across the face of goal, but it was being well defended by Kieran Dewsbury Hall, and it merely ends up being a goal kick to Leicester City, who lead by a goal to 0 on TalkSport 2 with a quarter of an hour to go. Dean Ashton.
Really good anticipation from Cannon, because look, he's not going to be getting much service, so it's going to be about, can he make the most of the little things that come his way. It was a good header from the long kick from Hermanson by Cassidy into his path. He just rolled Thomas and then took a half-volleyed strike to the far corner, making Collins make a decent save.
Fire downfield by Mads Hermanson for Leicester from the goal kick. Big pinball around the halfway line. Eventually it bounces into the control of Casey McAteer, but he has the ball taken off his toe by the tenacious Callum O'Hare, sending Jay De Silva away down the Coventry left-hand side. De Silva swings an early cross in, fast there to volley it clear for Leicester. Headed up in the air by O'Hare, will drop for the Coventry captain, Ben Sheaf. O'Hare finds Jamie Allen out to the left wing, and Jay De Silva teases the ball into the box once again. Sakamoto heads it back to the edge of the box. Touchdown by Van Ewijk, almost finding Godden. Cleared away hurriedly by Leicester. And throw for Coventry City, midway point of the Leicester half.
Every single time it looks like that space opens up for a Coventry City player, a Leicester City blue shirt just steps across and intercepts. They've been brilliant defensively so far in the second half.
De Silva trying to go on the outside of Casey McAteer, but that's good defending from the Leicester substitute. His clearance went out of play though on the far side of the field. Coventry take the throw in quickly. It's with Liam Kitching. Casey Palmer out on the left wing, midway point of the half. Plays it infield to Jamie Allen. Square ball across to Bobby Thomas coming forward again. Now Van Ewijk, everybody forward for Coventry City. Nobody back on halfway. Here is Liam Kitching into Casey Palmer. Tried a little flick at the edge of the area to get Allen away. At the second attempt he did get the flick, but by that time Wout Faes was back in position and he clears the ball away for Leicester, but there's nobody to hit on halfway. 77 minutes gone. Coventry 0, Leicester 1. If you're just tuning into EFL Game Day Live on TalkSport 2, Leicester down to 10 men since just before half-time, but they've got a 3-on-3 counter-attack here with the man that scored their penalty, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Clips the ball into the area looking for Tom Cannon. Volleys it across the face of goal. It almost broke for Cesare Casadei, but Bobby Thomas got a vital head to it.
Well, that third attacking player was Vestergaard, who once the ball wasn't passed to him decided, yeah, it's not for me. So he just turned around and went back to defend as Harry Winks just stops Callum O'Hare for the counter-attack. He knew exactly what he was doing there.
And he's got a yellow card for that as well, Harry Winks. Well, yeah, he is very Grealish, Callum O'Hare, but he would be having come through the Villa Academy probably around the same time that Jack was coming through. He's 25 years of age now. Coventry making a change, and they're bringing on the former Everton forward, Ellis Sims. Casey Palmer has had a frustrating afternoon, largely speaking, for Coventry, so he goes off. I can't imagine Ellis Sims is going to play as a left winger, so there's going to be a slight change in formation. We'll see how it plays out, Dean Ashton.
I think he'll play closer to Godden, won't he, with probably O'Hare just in behind the pair of them.
Well, he's out on the left wing now, and his first involvement is to find Jay De Silva. Callum O'Hare gets the shot away! 1-1! Callum O'Hare rescues Coventry, gets them level, goes to snatch the ball out the back of the net, and the Coventry Building Society arena erupts. Leicester have finally been pegged back after all that resistance that the 10 men have put up. It's the little man wearing the number 10 for Coventry that slides it home after good work from Sims and De Silva. And Callum O'Hare gets his 4th goal of the season to make it Coventry 1, Leicester 1.
And that's why it feels like a new signing for Coventry, because he's such a special talent. When it seems like there isn't even a gap there for anyone to find, somehow Callum O'Hare, with just a couple of dabs of the ball, just to open up the legs of the defender and then slide it through into that far corner. He had no right to do that. It's brilliant from Callum O'Hare. Along the ground, zipped into the back of the net and the level.
My word, how they've missed him. But now they've got him back, there's real belief that he can help lead this playoff charge. And Coventry are level, and we've got 10 minutes to go. What a great 10 minutes in store. Coventry clearly think that they've got another goal in them here. They're still penning Leicester back. Kitching finds Sheaf, approaching the left-hand corner of the box. Tried to clip it into the area for Jamie Allen. Sheaf goes in strongly on Dewsbury Hall, won the ball. All over the top, trying to get Cannon away, but Bobby Thomas is back there to tidy up for Coventry City. Atmosphere in this stadium has completely changed.
Absolutely, and Callum O'Hare, after that goal, just went round every single side of this stadium to get them up.
Well, they should have got to sort out a new contract for Callum O'Hare. He's out of contract in the summer. They've got to try and nail him down if they can. Doug King and the Coventry ownership to keep Callum O'Hare at this stadium. Bobby Thomas receives the ball now from Sheaf. Again, Leicester have got everybody back behind the ball in their own defensive third. Sakamoto looks for Van Ewijk to the byline, pulls it across, headed up in the air by Ricardo Pereira, and volley clear by Harry Winks. Desperate for Leicester City to get it clear, and get it clear they do.
That's 2 brilliant crosses now from Van Ewijk on this right-hand side. Sakamoto again just playing him right down to the byline, and he clips it back up Ricardo Pereira, brilliant header.
Now Ellis Sims breaking into the area, left-hand side. Ball's towed away onto him by a Leicester player and went behind for a goal kick. But there's real intent about Coventry City as we enter these closing stages, and Leicester are responding by making a change and taking off striker Tom Cannon and bringing on defensive midfielder Hamza Chowdhury to try and block some of those routes to goal, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I think with Harry Winks being in there on his own as a midfield player, and where the goal came from in terms of that little pass into Callum O'Hare's feet inside the penalty area, that's where you maybe want that just protection of screening the back four. And Chowdhury will do that, I think, alongside Harry Winks as Cannon just gets himself a yellow
for taking too long to exit stage left. My producer reminds me that Callum O'Hare and Jack Grealish even grew up playing Gaelic football in local leagues together. And they both represented Warwickshire at cricket. They've got something in common with my dad, in that case. Not with me, I could never have represented Warwickshire at cricket. And back underway. With that change made by Leicester. Harry Winks, right to challenge brilliantly on halfway, and he's scampering forward, plays the ball into the box, blocked at the near post by Bobby Thomas. Scintillating run from Harry Winks, but it comes to nothing, and Sakamoto brings the ball away, barged into by Cassidy, and then by Chowdhury. Referee's going to bring play back. Callum O'Hare was trying to play the advantage, but Sakamoto rode one shoulder barge, and then got clattered into by Chowdhury, who's only been on the pitch 2 minutes, and he's got a yellow. But that's Hamza Chowdhury for you.
It is. To be fair, Cassidy probably could have got a yellow to start with, and probably Chowdhury's thinking, I'd rather you've given it to him.
Sakamoto, right hand side for Coventry, lifts the ball into the box. Sims goes up, it's headed behind by Ricardo Pereira for a Coventry corner at the south stand end. Belief sweeping around this stadium that Coventry can get a winner here. 1-1, and we're into the last 6 minutes of normal time here.
My mind just drifts back though to the Hawthorns and West Bromwich Albion, who thought we're going to throw everything at this Leicester side. I know they've got an extra player, but then they got done on the counter-attack from a similar position as this.
Short corner to Jay Da Silva, left-hand corner of the box, gives it back to Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, sweeps the ball in, good header clear again by Ricardo Pereira, but Callum O'Hare will pick up the loose ball for Coventry. Right-hand side, comes in field, plays it along towards the inside left channel, and Jay Da Silva, cross to the far side, is headed away. Will it go out for a corner? It's a throw in right by the corner flag on this near side to us, the Coventry right, and Sheep is going to leave it for Milan Van Ewijk to take, I think. 1-1 the score.
Just got to keep composure, Coventry here, because of the crowd lifting the players. Just get a little bit rushed.
Looks like a foul throw by Van Ewijk, but they've let it go. Thomas and Kitching now have passes exchanged between them, played into the box. It almost broke for Callum O'Hare, but he just couldn't bring the ball out the sky, and it drifted through to Mads Hermans, who gratefully plunged on top of the ball. 5 minutes to go, plus added time. Coventry 1, Leicester 1.
He can't believe that, can he, Callum O'Hare? He can't believe he's taken a bad touch. His first of the game. Brilliant little clip over the top from Kitchen. Callum O'Hare just couldn't take it into his path, otherwise he'd have been staring down Hermanson.
So into the last 5 minutes of normal time we go on TalkSport 2. Great climax in store. Sakamoto fouled just shy of halfway by Chowdhury. He's got to be careful, having been yellow carded almost as soon as he'd tied his bootlaces up and got out there as a substitute. Now left hand side, Ellis Sims giving chase, but Ricardo Pereira thumps it into the advertising hoardings for a throw in to Coventry City. It's going to be left by Jamie Allen for Jay Da Silva. Kitching finds the captain, Ben Sheaf. Now Bobby Thomas for Coventry. Out to Van Ewijk on the right-hand side, level with the Leicester box. Drives for the byline, sends across deep to the far post, over the head of Sims, just in, heads clear. Da Silva will retrieve for Coventry. Finds Kitching. Kitching will give it back to the diminutive Da Silva. Now Sims down that left-hand side of the area for Coventry. Lays it back to Jay Da Silva. Will he get the cross in this time? Feints the cross and then checks back onto his right foot and comes away from the dead ball line. Being hassled and harried all the way by Ricardo Pereira. Good defending from Leicester City, forcing Coventry away from the penalty area.
Just got to keep this pressure up every time the ball comes out, quickly getting it back into play.
Space for Van Ewijk across the face of goal and turned behind by Vestergaard for a Coventry corner with 4 minutes to go. 1-1.
So much space now for Coventry out wide. Every single time, like I said, it comes back out. Fizz it out wide again. Get balls in the box.
Sakamoto with the resulting corner. Nobody there for a short option. Be a left-footed in-swinging corner. Lots of movement. It's gone very, very deep to the far post. Jamie Allen heads it back across the face of goal. Out to the edge of the box. Van Ewijk brings it down. Scores! Milan Van Ewijk may well have won it for Coventry City from the edge of the area. Jamie Allen nodded it down. Van Ewijk took aim from 18 yards out, found the bottom corner, and Coventry have done to Leicester what Leicester did to Coventry on opening weekend. They've turned around a 1-0 deficit to a 2-1 lead. Coventry 2, Leicester 1.
Well, he couldn't have been any more accurate with this attempt. Van Ewijk, as it came to him on the edge of the area, he just chested it down onto his right foot as it was bobbling. He hit it into the ground with power. It went right through the legs of Hamza Chowdhury as he went out to block. And there's nothing Hermansen could do because it's right in the corner. And it was going to, again, take something to break down this Leicester defence. And it's a brilliant strike.
Second goal of the season for Milan Van Ewijk, but he ran straight to the Coventry bench and his manager in delight at scoring what he thinks is the winner. 2-1 to Coventry. The 10 men of Leicester now got so much to do here. Now they've got to find a scoring option. They've taken off Tom Cannon. They've got McAteer, Cassidy playing as a sort of auxiliary front two. We're into the last 90 seconds of normal time. On TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. Brilliant drama once again in this Midlands derby. Coventry bidding for their first win over Leicester since 2008 here. Winks finds Cassidy. Great touch from Cassidy. Gets the shot away and whistles over the crossbar. He was 25 yards out. Lovely turn from the Chelsea loanee. But a rush of blood to the head when it finally came to the strike at goal. Goal kick Coventry, last minute of normal time. Be very interested to see how much Darren England adds on at the end of this. 2-1 Coventry.
I mean, it was brilliant play. Winks with the pass into Cassidy. Beautiful cushion touch with the outside of his right foot to take it into his path just outside the area. He just thrashed at it at the end. Just trying to get that extra bit of power when he didn't quite need it. It was more about the direction, and it just went up and over the crossbar.
Well, what an atmosphere inside the Coventry Building Society Arena. 29,000 strong this afternoon. It's a fair contingent that would come down the M69 from Leicester, of course, but the home fans have made a right old racket today, and they're being rewarded for sticking with their team. But it's the unlikely Milan Van Ewijk who's set to be the hero. Only scored once before since joining from Heerenveen in the summer. Scored against Watford, the Dutch under-21. 4 minutes of minimum added time that we're into now. And there's a push by Casey McAteer on Bobby Thomas that will buy Coventry a few more seconds, with a free kick awarded to the home side inside their own half.
I mean, they should be able to see it out with that extra player, unless they do something very stupid or you get just a real bit of brilliance from Leicester, and it would take them into the playoffs. And again, with that experience from last season, you'd have to say they'd be one of your favourites to stay in there.
They've got the experience, a lot of this squad, about what it takes to get into that playoff pack come May. Remember, they snuck in on the last day of the season and then got all the way to the playoff final, having beaten Middlesbrough. And they're coming forward again with Jamie Allen scampering forward, gets up to the edge of the area, tries to feed it down the left-hand side of the box for Godden, who's kept it in play right at the dead ball line. He works it back to Jay Da Silva, and Callum O'Hare and Da Silva exchange passes, and they're just going to keep possession now. They don't need to go for goal, Coventry City, unless an absolutely glaring opportunity presents itself. We're in 4 minutes of added time here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry 2, Leicester 1. Sakamoto goes down under the pressure of Winks. No foul, says the referee. Bobby Thomas picks up the loose ball, finds Callum O'Hare, gives it back to Thomas. All about keep ball for the Sky Blues. As soon as they say that, they give it away. Cassidy is fouled by Van Ewijk, and Leicester have a free kick, and they want to get on with it quickly. Vestergaard is the man standing over the free kick, 5 yards ahead of his own 18-yard box. Plays the ball into the feet of Ricardo Pereira, gives it back to Vestergaard, who's giving it away. Ben Sheaf wins it back at the edge of the centre circle. Then Jamie Allen steps in, but Leicester have won it back. Strong challenge on James Justin by Jay Da Silva is going to earn the substitute for Coventry a yellow card, and Leicester get a free kick on halfway, but they've got 2 minutes, Leicester, to try and save themselves.
Just if you're Coventry City, you just need to make sure that you're defensively solid. There should be no reason why you should concede now to 10 men. It's about having that experience, composure. You've done the hard work, just don't give it away.
2-1 to Coventry. Dewsbury Hall's free kick up to the edge of the Coventry box. It might drop here for the goalkeeper. He's hesitating for a moment, and he got there in the end as Wout Faes was herring in on him. Bradley Collins just hesitated in the Coventry goal for a second to come out and collect, but managed to get both hands on it eventually.
I'm pretty surprised Wout Faes hasn't gone diving in there to make a challenge on the goalkeeper. I think many would, because it was just about there to go for because of the goalkeeper's hesitation, but he didn't.
Into the last minute of the minimum 4 being added on. Coventry want to get the ball clear from their own defensive third. Bobby Thomas puts his foot through it. Godden's giving chase. Faes will get there ahead of him. The first of our 3 live commentaries from the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 coming to a conclusion. O'Hare finds Matt Godden inside the box. O'Hare! 3-1! Game over! Points wrapped up! Coventry City have ended Leicester City's long unbeaten run. They themselves go 9 unbeaten, and little Callum O'Hare gets a brace to settle matters here in the Midlands. Thumping left-footed finish after Godden caused all the problems. It's Coventry City 3, Leicester City 1.
He's some player, isn't he? Callum O'Hare. He's waited a long, long time. He's watched his side go out and train day after day, waiting for his chance, and now he's back. He's showing everyone what a quality player he is. It was all his work down the right hand side, couple of little body swerves. He was away from Vestergaard and Wout Faes. Little bit of luck with the deflected shot from Godden falling to him, but then he arrows the volley low, fearsome past Hermansen to round off a Coventry victory.
Sign him up, I think would be the phrase. We're back underway on TalkSport 2, and that's the last action of a local derby that sees Coventry City go 9 unbeaten and go into the top 6 just for a few hours at least, and in doing so end Leicester City's long unbeaten run that stood at 11 matches in the Championship. They do not go 13 points clear at the top of the table. Encouragement for Ipswich, who play later live on TalkSport 2 to try and close that gap. But that second half was all about Coventry City believing in themselves. They had a whole half to go at 10-man Leicester, having gone behind late in the first half to Dewsbury Hall's penalty, only for Abdul Fatawu to be sent off. But they finally got themselves level through Callum O'Hare on 79 minutes. Milan Van Ewijk put Coventry in front 2 minutes before the end of normal time, and then O'Hare got his second and Coventry's third with a left-footed volley right at the end of stoppage time. And an absolutely thunderous atmosphere around this stadium. They left it late last year to get into the playoffs. Can they stay in the playoffs? Now they're in there, Dean Ashton.
Oh, very much so. If they keep the likes of O'Hare, Sakamoto fit, there's absolutely no reason why they can't. I mean, Callum O'Hare is such a galvanising player for any side. As he's over there now, just getting the crowd going again. He was brilliant. You know, those little bits of quality that you're going to need against the top sides. He brings it.
He wears the sky blue shirt and he wears the number 10, and he used to play Gaelic football with Jack Grealish. There's quite a few similarities between the two, and he's put in the sort of match-winning performance today that we've seen his mate do so many times for Aston Villa or for Manchester City. Callum O'Hare is the toast of Coventry right now. He's helped them seal this derby. It's finished on TalkSport 2. Coventry City 3, Leicester City 1.